I was gonna have something to say really quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna let them know that I'm finishing up some leftover enchilada, and if I'm not looking at Nick, it's because my neck's kinked, so I can't turn it.
Yeah, Brooklyn, poor little Brookie B has got a little bit of a frozen neck right now. All right, you guys, we wanted to tell you the story of our honeymoon. So to get started, do we want to talk about like the wedding and leading directly into it and then talk about it, or just talk about it specifically from leaving Oregon and then the whole experience?
About it going, and we could talk about like, I don't know. I wasn't gonna anyway. I don't know. So basically, we had a New Year's Eve wedding, and so we stayed until about midnight, and it was already a late night. And by the time we got to the hotel that him and I were staying at here in town before flying out for our honeymoon the next day, it was like 1 a.m, almost 1 a.m. It was like 12:30 or something. So got to bed, or didn't get to bed late, and I thought that our flight was at 9, and so we set our alarms to get up at 6:30 to be able to shower and then get over to the airport. And I had like literally checked that multiple times, but we also had to change our honeymoon 3 times because of COVID. So I think I had a lot of like times and dates running around in my head. I don't know what happened. All I know is the alarm goes off at 6:30. My body felt horrible. Like I was just exhausted, and did not get enough sleep, but showered. Then I woke Nick up, and as he's going to get in the shower, I like go to check us in for a flight, and it says 3 p.m. And I'm like, no, this is a mistake. There's no way we did not just get up. And so it was at 3. And a New Year's Eve wedding itself is an amazing idea. It was so much fun. I loved it. But what we did not realize is that, New Year's Day is a holiday, therefore nowhere's open. And so once we realized that the flight was later, we were like, well, shoot, I guess he can go back to sleep easily. I was like up and at it, but we got up a couple hours later then, and I was like, well, that's okay, we'll make the most of it. We were staying at Inn at the Fifth, and so Provisions is right here. They have great coffee, great food. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. It's so cute, blah blah blah. Oh, it's closed. So then became like an hour-long search for anything that was open for us to get food. So we ended up getting like breakfast at a little restaurant that was open down the street, and we did not run into them, but we're sitting on a little bench at the hotel outside eating our brunch, and we had scheduled his parents to come by the hotel at noon and pick up my wedding dress and his suit. They think that we're like gone. Yeah. And I can hear his mom's laugh, so we're like hiding behind the staircase at Provisions because we didn't really want to like run into family. So we're like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And then it just gets more interesting. We're like, well, we can't just sit here. We had to check out of our hotel. That was another fun fact. So that's why we were outside on a bench, because we couldn't be inside our room anymore. So we're outside, we're on a bench, we eat this breakfast, and we're like, well, what the hell are we going to do? Because there's nothing open. And so we get in our car. It had been pouring, so all the like streamers and everything our bridal party put in our car is just like soggy and running everywhere, and we're just at this point laughing. This might be like more information than anybody asked for or needs, but I had some issues with my birth control. Therefore, your girl started her period on this day, the day after my wedding. So bless up that I didn't have to deal with it in my wedding dress, but I still was like, you're kidding. So I have cramps. We're in rainy Eugene. Everything is closed. Our flight is not till the afternoon. The odds are against us. So we get in the car, and I think we ended up realizing that we could use something from the store, like for the trip. So we went to Walmart So we're at Walmart, and I'm like, I just freaking got married last night, and now I'm in my sweatpants in Walmart 2 minutes from my house. I don't feel like I just had a wedding, my own wedding last night. And then Nick's like, I think I'm kind of hungry. So we walk across to a Subway that is in the same parking lot as the Walmart. I've never even been to this Subway location, and I'm from here. It was like kind of weird. And so we're in Subway getting Subway sandwiches, and we're like, the whole thing was weird.
Just as a quick side note, one of my favorite memories of this is that when we walked into Subway, they had their marketing team's super cool. So they said, instead of just saying looking to hire or employees wanted, they had a sign up on the soda machine that said, are you interested in becoming a sandwich artist? Contact us to find out how you can join the team. And so the term sandwich artist has never left my head. I really like that.
We talk about that.
After Subway, I'm trying to remember how much longer, but anyways, we get to the airport finally for our flight to Arizona because our honeymoon trip was going to be to Scottsdale. We had a resort there, or I guess just a hotel. And when we get there, who do we see in the terminal ready to board her flight home but my sister? So we do end up running into family despite ducking behind a literal staircase.
No, she texts and says, hey, I'm going home at this time. I don't know if you guys are going to be there or if you've already flown out, but if you're there, I want to say hi. And I was like, frick, we are going to be there. And Eugene Airport is one room. So we ran into her and she came and just chatted it up. And I was like, I'm thrilled right now. It was an interesting day, to say the least. Oh, and I remember we went to Walmart to buy tampons because I had my little incident. So that's what we went there for. But nonetheless, we got to Arizona, and it continues to get more interesting. I'm sorry because all the flashbacks are coming back now that we're talking about it. And I'm realizing actually how much of that day was, not to be negative, but not great. Didn't really turn out amazing. Our first day after getting married was definitely interesting. So we get to Arizona and this is our third choice. Like, this is end of 2020. Travel restrictions were nuts, and going out of the country seemed impossible. And then we were going to go to Palm Springs, and they went on lockdown 2 weeks before our wedding, or a month before or something. So we were like, okay, well, where can we go that's just warm? Because it's middle of the winter here, and that's in the States, I guess. So Arizona is where we ended up. Anyway, so we get there, and we're like, oh, our hotel's 25 minutes away, so I guess we'll just like Uber. I don't know. We clearly didn't plan this part. And Uber was not picking up at the airport. Like, they do pick up there, but Nick could not get the app to connect to our location. Therefore, we could not call for a car. So our literal only option was the old school taxis, which their prices are outrageous. So it was $70 for a one-way ride to our hotel. And at this point, we're like broke. So $70 that we weren't expecting to spend was like very frustrating. Nick was not happy, but it was kind of like we got to put it behind us and just enjoy the rest of the week and forget about it because there's literally nothing else we can do. So we get to the hotel and we're like excited, we're finally here, blah, blah, blah. And we realize, oh my gosh, we have not eaten in hours now and we're really hungry. Well, all the restaurants at the hotel are closed, which only I think 2 or 3 of them were even open because of COVID restrictions. And they were like, there's a mall across the street, like an outdoor mall and some places over there. So we ended up walking like, I think 1.5 miles to a Chipotle that closed in like 20 minutes because everything was closed for the night. And the guy, honestly, I just remembered this too. that guy was so sweet. We came in, we were like, yeah, we're here for our honeymoon. Everything was closed and shut down, and so we're really glad that you guys are open so we can get something to eat. And I think he gave us like free chips and queso or something. So that was sweet. But yeah, our honeymoon started off very interesting. That day was really something.
Oh boy, I'm trying to remember. I just want to say the like taxi cab, paying $70 for that'll be brought up later in the story, because that definitely set the tone for me. And from that point forward, I was low-key fighting to not penny pinch with some of the stuff that we did or some of the activities we chose to engage in. So I was really trying to make sure that we were saving when we could. And that was not the way that I envisioned going into the honeymoon. I was envisioning it being, you know what, we're using money.
Relaxing, warm, beautiful, being together, doing experiences that are new and fun and whatever, like, you know, excursions and all that, because we're thinking we were going to Mexico or Hawaii. We thought we would, you know, the typical classic honeymoon locations, and yeah, that's just not what we got, and that's okay. I think, just some, like a side note, maybe this is not even needed, but I think a lot of people were like, how was the honeymoon? And I felt pressure to have a certain response, which I don't know. That sounds bad because I really, truly don't want to be negative about the honeymoon. But in our experience, we got kind of the short end of the stick and did not have the best time. And that's just the truth. But that's not because of each other. Like, we enjoyed being together and we were really excited to finally be married and just be the two of us and whatever. So there was still like, there's also some awesome moments from that week and from that trip that we'll whatever highlight. But yeah, overall, it's not what we envisioned or planned. And a lot of the process wasn't what we envisioned or planned because we were up against some difficult cards that year. But that's okay. It was just very interesting. And Nick was extremely stressed about the cost of it all because it was like, okay, 50% of the stuff is shut down and the prices are through the roof. And so he felt, I think, like, how is this even worth it or something? I don't know.
Yeah. Another factor that kind of stunk was that the resort that we were at was pretty significantly far away from like Old Town Scottsdale, which had a ton of restaurants, ton of shops, kind of like a nice downtown poppin' area for people to go to and hang out. But that was 10 miles away and we weren't old enough to get a rental car, and so we would have to Uber there, and that was more expensive. So anyways, chronologically, the next significant thing that happened on our honeymoon was the next morning. We're downstairs trying to figure out like what is where, because we know there's restaurants, we know that there's some stuff, some pools. So we end up going up to, or we're just kind of walking through the lobby looking for a map, and a lady at the concierge desk sees us walking around and she's like, hey, do you guys want like a free tour? We have a free tour available. And
our 750 acre lot. It sounded really cool.
Yeah, it sounded really
cool. To ride on a golf cart.
And I've never been approached for a timeshare because I'm at the time 22. And so I've never had anyone look at me and go, hey, you know, you might be interested in this. We had no idea
that's what it was leading to.
Yeah, like we can't own property. We're barely in an apartment. So anyways, she starts giving us a spiel about this free tour and the things you see. And, oh, you get a $250 gift card credit on your room if you go on the tour. So we're like, oh, heck yeah.
And we got extra benefits because she looked up our reservation and we were elite members at this Marriott because it was booked under my mom and dad's Marriott account so that it was at a discounted price for us. But obviously she doesn't know that we're not my parents. So she's thinking like we're the elite members, and Nick is standing. I'm trying to be nice. Like I have that issue where I don't know how to get out of conversations that just won't end because I don't know how to like kindly do that. And you're like, can we just go? So you were standing behind me and I was sitting at her desk in the chair, and she had me start like filling out. She's like, oh, you just have to fill out this. And then like the tour time is this time this afternoon. You'll meet back here and like it'll be an hour long or something. We were like so excited, only hearing the benefits. And so I start reading through the paperwork and like signaturing off my name everywhere. And I kid you not, to the very last thing, the very last question on the entire front to back sheet that says you have to make at least $75,000 a year in your household. And I kind of laugh to myself and I go, oh, excuse me, I don't think we can do this if you have to make $75,000 a year. That's what this says. And the lady's like, oh, yeah, but it's fine because it's combined. It's not like just you. It's okay if you don't make $75,000 a year. And I was like, yeah, we don't make $75,000 a year. We, as in both of us together. And she was like, really, really trying. So she goes... She goes, well, it says in your household, so if you have like roommates, you can count everybody in the house, like everyone's incomes. We can make it work. And I was like, nope, it's just us. Like, I haven't even graduated college yet. We just got married. We're just starting out, so we don't make that much. And she was so embarrassed. She got really red and was like, I am so sorry. I kind of just assumed because like you looked this way and that way, and kind of commented on like my nails being done. I had fake eyelashes. I had like eyelash extensions and everything. And I'm like, well, yes, honey, I look the best I will ever look for the rest of my life because I just had my wedding day 2 days ago. So I did everything in the beauty books. So anyway, that was...
And I mean, and then she looked at me and she said, and you're just like an absolute hunk of a man. So like, I couldn't even imagine you making less than $75,000. And I was like, yeah, I get it a lot.
Yeah. Yep. That was definitely an emphasis on the experience. So anyway, oh man, we gave ourselves a tour.
We gave ourselves the free walking
we gave ourselves the free walking tour. That's right. And honestly, it was just like so funny. But yeah, our week was kind of just filled with pool time that involved some also interesting interactions. We walked in one night on an older couple straddling in the pool or in the hot tub, in the adult section hot tub, making out, and Nick was over getting towels, and I was like, okay, like it was late, it was like 10, so we were like, nobody's out there, sweet, let's go. And it was so quiet, so I walk around the corner and I walk into the moment, and the guy's making out, like he's facing me, she's facing away, so they're making out, and he opens his eyes because he hears someone, and they're still kissing, and he makes eye contact with me. Yeah, so let that sink in. And I literally I quietly ran, like tiptoed back as fast as I could, and I was like signaling to Nick, like, no, don't go that way. But by the time we started walking out, they literally grabbed their stuff and hauled. Yeah, they were embarrassed. So we were like, sweet, jumping in anyway. I don't know what's in this pool, but we're jumping in. So yeah, it was a good time, but we had good stuff too. We did a Segway tour in downtown Scottsdale, and that was incredible. And that day ended up being so much fun. Keyword ended up being, because Nick is going to tell you what he tried to pull on me that morning on the way there.
So the morning of, what did I try to pull on you? I'm trying to remember.
We were trying to save money on transportation there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this day was kind of like the middle of our honeymoon week, and we decided this is going to be our one day that we're going to spend in Old Town Scottsdale. So we paid for never mind. So we paid for the Segway tour. We found it on Groupon. Let's go. So I felt really great about that. Got a good discount. And then we looked around and found some places that we'd be interested to check out and eat and grab coffee. So everything was lined up. It was going great. And it's 10 miles to get there. And so I thought, if we can walk like half of that distance, like a few miles, 5 miles, and then catch an Uber, then we save probably like $25 at least. So we get out on the road.
Dying of heat. We just came from freezing cold Oregon, and this boy has me walking down these main roads in a place I've never been. I'm sweating because it's so hot there. Like, not so hot for Arizona, but like warm enough that my body was not used to that heat. And he is tracking our distance so that we can see where we're going to pick up an Uber. And at first I was like, okay, I get it. I get you want to save money. Like, I'm down with that. And then it just kind of spun downhill from there.
Yeah. So once we were about a mile and a half in, I looked over at Brooklyn and I could tell that she was thinking about the D word, which the divorce, which is not a good thing on your honeymoon. And I was forcing her into that place with my frugality. So we decided mutually, of course, that we were going to get an Uber to take us there. And that air conditioning in that car was sweet relief.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact details or the exact words that came out of my mouth, but you looked over and I think at one, I was trying not to say anything. I kept being like, I'm so hot. And like, it's really hot. Like, how much longer is it, babe? Like, do you want to check the distance? And he finally was like, are you good? Or blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm done. This is absolutely ridiculous. We're on our honeymoon. We're supposed to be enjoying, not like penny pinching over every little thing.
And you forgot sunglasses and it was super bright.
Oh,
like,
right.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I forgot my sunglasses at the hotel. This sounds so bad. Like, this makes me sound really high maintenance or something, but the cement was like pure white cement.
That's true.
And it was so sunny and my eyes were weirdly sensitive. So I don't know. I'm sweating. I can't see. I remember being like, I can't even look up, Nick. I can't even enjoy the walk and like look around. It was a very drama central moment.
Mm-hmm. But eventually we get there and we did the Segway tour, which was awesome.
So
I've never
fun.
a Segway tour has always been kind of like a bucket list thing for me. I got to do one when I went to Hawaii with my parents at the end of high school, but doing it just around like the city of Scottsdale with, was it Kim?
No, honey.
What are their names? Anyways, a really sweet older couple, like they're probably in their 50s, were on the tour with us, and we were chatting it up with them. And on like one of the last turns out of one of the centers, he eats it getting up onto the, like, was it in a crosswalk? Oh, it was going off of the curb into the crosswalk to cross the street.
No, we were coming up onto we were coming up onto the sidewalk from the street to wait to cross. Yeah. And he clipped the
side of the
curb, and missed it, like missed the smooth entryway, and he clipped it and flew off, and the Segway like freaked out and was like rearing up in the street, and there's cars sitting, so like it was kind of freaky because there was like cars and he's in the street. I think his name was Jim because I remember the wife being like, oh, Lisa, I think it was Jim and Lisa or something, but I remember she was like, Jim, no, Jim, are you okay? It was like a scene from a movie, and I started crying, not like bawling, but I was in tears because, not from laughing, because I felt so bad. It like made me really sad. I don't know. It was really sad. He's like, it's okay. I'm okay, everybody. And the tour guide got him back on his feet and stuff. And the rest of the time, I felt like I was shaking in my boots, like, it's going to be me next. Like, then I was in my head about it. So I'm glad we only had 5 minutes of the tour left.
Yeah, he was a little spooked. He was fine, but the only thing that was injured was his pride, because that's so embarrassing. There were a lot of eyes. So yeah. I felt bad. I'm not saying that out of like trying to shame him. I'm just saying realistically, like, that is such an embarrassing thing to happen. So anyways, that was really, really fun. And then we ended up having dinner at a Mexican restaurant, which apparently has like this world famous guacamole, which I'm not super big into that, so I didn't really partake, but Brooklyn had it. It was $15, so how good can it really be? Not that good, but she said it was all right. And then afterwards, she has a little bit of leftovers, and we're walking through downtown waiting for our Uber to take us the 10 miles back. Ugh. And Brooklyn sees a homeless lady on a bench, and she looks over at me and says, hey, Nick, I just really feel prompted to go and give her my leftovers and like just tell her to have a good night. And I was like, okay, that is so sweet. Like, that's awesome. I'm totally here for you. So I held her like purse and her jacket or whatever, and she walks over, and you can enlighten us to what happened next.
Yeah, I walked over and I was just like, I think I just said hi, and we just finished up over here at the restaurant. I had a bunch of leftover food that I don't need. Like, would you like a hot meal or whatever? And I will say, like, the homeless population in Eugene, I'm used to, and also in majority of my experiences, the individuals that I have interacted with are very kind, and so I wasn't expecting this, but yeah, I offered, and she starts yelling like people are looking. She's like, "Stay away from me." And then she said, "I have a knife on me, and if you take one more step my way, I will pull it out." And I was so shaky. I think I just go, "Okay," and like ran back over to you. But the rest of the time that we were there, I was feeling really nervous because she was in the same like courtyard area that we were waiting for our Uber, so she was eyeing us down the whole rest of the time that we were standing there, and it was just really interesting. It kind of freaked me out. So since we're talking about some fun honeymoon content for our special shout out this week, we're gonna have a shout out to Jack Marie Jewelry, because that's where I got my jewelry for the wedding. Yeah, it was great. It was beautiful. It was cool. Literally, these earrings, which are just like little huggies, little like gold huggy hoops, I wear them every day. And I only take them out to clean them when my ears start to get stinky. So, so check her out. Amazing jewelry, well made, good quality, and highly recommend. Some good wedding day jewels.
I guess the next thing I should mention, this was a really nice part of the resort we were at, is that they had the golf carts essentially being shuttles between the neighboring mall area, which was really, really nice. And so that was like good free transportation for us during the days or the evenings when we decided to go and eat. And we also ate a decent amount at the hotel because we had a credit with our stay for all of those restaurants particularly. So I think we had like most of our breakfasts and lunches there, and that was pretty solid.
So since this episode has already turned into an entire episode on our honeymoon experience, which we were just going to tell the quick story at the beginning and then share about honeymoon expectations, but maybe we'll do a part 2 because this is just the whole episode at this point. I guess there was a lot to unpack that we didn't realize, and we're doing it right now. But speaking of food, we got to go to a really nice steak dinner one of the nights because that's what my uncle gifted us for our wedding gift. And so we chose a beautiful, really fancy steakhouse that was a couple blocks from the hotel. We had heard really amazing things, and we were like, well, this is kind of a not once in a lifetime, but a little bit to us at that point, because definitely not a restaurant we could afford. So we make a reservation, and it was really special. But the moment we walked in, I knew we didn't belong. Like, it was just very high class. But I was like grateful to just be having like a really nice dinner and experiencing that. So it was fun. The gal at the front was hardcore hitting on Nick, and would only like look at him and would only talk to him even if I responded. So that was hilarious. We were cracking up about that. And then they came and picked us up for our table, and I really knew I didn't belong when this next thing happened, which was we were approaching these like glass steps to go up to the rooftop because we had a table on the rooftop, and they literally had people there working who were standing at the bottom to like hold your hand and help you up like I was at a ball. It was fancy. It was very fancy. I was like, oh wow, sure, I'll take your hand for the stairs. So then we get upstairs and we're in this like very dim lit. Hey, dim lit. Oh, let's go. In this very dimmed rooftop, and the center is a pool that's lit up, and then all the tables have candles. That's about all the lighting there is. And our table is right up against the pool, and then there's like an open top rooftop. It was beautiful. And we were just like soaking up every moment. We had like garlic buttered knots that they brought out in this beautiful pan, and the waiter came out and had the entire menu memorized. It was
That's Ruben. That's my boy.
it was incredible. I told Nick after he left the first time, like, do you think he'll break character? Because like, I don't know, I felt I wasn't like as formal as they were presenting everything to be. I was trying to like chat it up with the waiter, and so we got to talking a little bit, but I told him, I was like, I'm so impressed that you have this whole thing memorized. Anyhow, so along with the theme of us kind of feeling out of place, I told Nick, I was like, how much you want to bet I'll like stick my feet in the pool? And that's not what this restaurant is for. And he was like, do it, you won't. And I was like, I absolutely will. So he pulls out his camera, and I like slid off my shoe, and I was really nervous, so I like did it real quick, but I spun around and I dunked my foot in the pool, and then I spun back around, and we were just cracking up and having a good old time ourselves. But that was a really fun evening and also a funny thing. But yeah, we had actually, now that we're talking about it, just a lot of really funny, kind of interesting things go down. So that's a good time.
This isn't in linear order anymore, but one of my favorite parts of it was, I think we just wanted some snacks or something to like fill the time in between, and we found out that there were some bikes that were available. If you just went downstairs to like the activities desk and asked them, you could borrow them for pretty much however long you wanted. And so we found out there was a Walgreens and like a grocery store like 5 miles away, and so we're like,
but I was actually at Walgreens.
So one morning we go and get the bikes checked out, and we ride 5 miles out to Walgreens to go and get some snacks, and we have a little haul on the way back, and that was really fun. And another thing I'll say is that the nachos downstairs, $16. That was the best value at the entire hotel. Like, not even the free ice was worth it, because the free ice machine was broken on our floor, so we never even got that.
So y'all thought we were in our bikinis hanging on the beach, but we were actually at the grocery store on our honeymoon. Oh man, no, the pool was really nice. We had a good time at the pool. We had some issues with birds, which birds are my biggest fear, as you know from the past episodes. Right. But yeah, we had a good time. We danced, we ate a lot, swam in the pool. Nick and I went to the spa one day, but they had canceled couples massages because of COVID, so we didn't get to do that together. We had to go separately, which was okay. But then he surprised me with letting me go again the day before we left for a facial, so that was really special, getting to do that and be treated in that way. Oh, I do remember one night there wasn't a lot of dessert options. We had found this gelato place across at the malls, and that was insane, so good. We kept going back because it was about the only dessert option there was. But there was one night, I think it was like too late, and I was like, all I want is a stinking fresh cookie. Just a fresh cookie. Simple. So we ordered crumble, which I don't even eat crumble in town. Like, we just had interesting experiences and whatever. So that's what I was going to talk about, was the game thing that we created, because it was Tuesday night and I was in tears over a honeymoon.
Also, just to give some context, our honeymoon sort of felt like if you had your kids' soccer tournament out of town in Arizona, and so you find a hotel there for the family and you book it for like a weekend and you go, but there's no soccer tournament and there's no kids, and you're just trying to figure out what to do. So that's kind of what the honeymoon felt like.
Wait, what? I was following until I wasn't. That was weird, but okay.
I'm just saying it felt like we were just staying at a hotel. Yes. Essentially.
Yeah.
Which wasn't a bad thing. Like, there was stuff to do, and going to Old Town Scottsdale was really sick. And we definitely maximized our time there and enjoyed the weather. But yeah, it wasn't like a crazy excursion getaway that some honeymoons are. But anyways, something really fun that we did do was one of the evenings, Brooklyn was just like really down, kind of obviously
by how things had turned out.
obviously neither of our expectations for the honeymoon had really been met. So she was like, I just really wish I was back in Eugene right now with all my like friends and family who were in town for the wedding and just like hanging out with them. That would be so much better.
And also, I do not want that to sound like it's because I didn't want to be with you. Like, we wanted to be together, but it was like, oh, these people came to see us for a wedding, and then we just flew out to be in a hotel. Yeah.
So I was like brainstorming in my mind, like, geez, what are we going to do to turn this thing around? And so it was the end of the day, and we're just in our hotel room, not really much else to do besides just go to sleep or try to go to the hot tub again. And if we go to the hot tub again, there's going to be old wrinkly people and they're making out. So we're not doing that. So I came up with a game that we did together on Instagram Live, and it actually turned out to be really fun and kind of a highlight. So it's called Bump It or Dump It. And essentially what we did is, I think we picked, was it a bunch of songs or just like 2 artists? No, we picked like a bracket of like 8 or 16 songs and then put them head to head. They were all from different genres. I think we had 2 from each genre. And then we just put them head to head and then kind of went through the bracket on Instagram Live and had people vote like number 1 or number 2 for whichever song we were playing. And it was a blast. We had a bunch of our friends and family kind of like tune into that and participate. And we got to vibe out and it was a blast. Do you want to...
Then we got copyrighted by Instagram, so shout out.
They took it all down.
Not even kidding. But no, that was actually a blast. That was really fun. It was a very on par thing for us. I feel like we're kind of weird and like to have a good time in weird ways. So yeah, nobody asked for or cared about nobody asked for our like honeymoon experiences, but here it is.